My name is Helen Thompson, and I'm 79 years old. For 52 years, this little house on Maple Street has been my everything. It's where I raised my son, David, and where my late husband, John, and I grew old together. But last spring, the unthinkable happened. Mi only shield, the prior whom I mandai for me, he used a power of attorney I signed, thinking it was just to help me out after my hip surgery. He told the realtor I was confused and needed a facility. He said it was all for my own good. But what my son didn't know was that my quiet neighbor, Mr. Ramirez, a retired lawyer, had been listening, and he had recorded every single word. It all started so innocently. After John passed away 2 years ago, my health started to decline a bit. David, my pride and joy, started coming over more often to help. "Mom, let me handle the bills," he'd say, his voice so full of concern. "Just sign this power of attorney so I can pay things if you ever up in the hospital. I just itly ewo me boy." I signed the papers without reading every single line. That was my biggest mistake. Soon after, his visits became less frequent. Our phone calls got shorter and shorter. Then one day, he brought over some brochures and papers. He told me I should start considering assisted living. He claimed the house was becoming too much for me to handle. Cell said in a trust for ina, premier tel dim nosat, this was my home. Ego en gris. "You're not thinking clearly, Mom," he snapped. In that moment, I felt helpless. It was like the woman who had bandaged his scraped knees and cheered at all his baseball games was suddenly just a burden he needed to get rid of. A few weeks later, I came home from a Dr. S appointment to find a for sale sign hammered into my front lawn. My heart just stopped. David was standing on the porch with a realtor, a young woman who looked incredibly uncomfortable. "Mom, this is for the best," he said, not even looking me in the eye. "The market is hot right now." The realtor made a quick, awkward exit. As soon as the door closed, David's tone changed. "Sign the listing agreement, Mom, or I'll have to get guardianship over you. You really don't want that." That night, I cried myself to sleep. I was all alone, and I started to wonder, was I really losing my mind? But then came a knock on my door. The next morning, it was Mr. Ramirez, my neighbor of 30 years, the kind man who always waved to me from his porch. He was holding 2 cups of coffee. "Helen," he said gently, "I don't mean to pry, but I've heard some things. And I recorded them." He pulled out his phone and played the audio clips for me. I heard my son's voice, clear as day. David on speakerphone with his wife, saying, "Mom's completely out of it. Once the house sells, we can pay off our mortgage and finally take that vacation. She won't even notice once she's in the home." Then, another clip of David talking to the realtor. "She's got early dementia. The power of attorney gives me full control. Just list it quick and get it sold." And then, the worst one. David laughing on a call with someone else. "Guardianship? It'll be easy. The judge will see she's frail. The money's as good as ours." I was shaking. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But Mr. Ramirez looked at me and said, "Helen, I was a lawyer for 40 years. This is elder financial abuse. It's fraudulent use of a power of attorney. We can revoke it today if you're still competent." And let me tell you, I wasn't confused. I was furious. And I was ready to fight back. I immediately called the lawyer John and I had used for years. With Mr. Ramirez's recordings as solid evidence, we revoked the power of attorney right away. You can do that, you know, as long as you are mentally sound. Then, we filed a formal complaint with Adult Protective Services and went straight to the district attorney's office. 2 days later, David showed up at my house, absolutely furious. "Mom, what are you doing?" "I'm doing this for you," he yelled. I didn't say a word. I just played the recordings on my phone's speaker. His face went completely white. "You recorded me?" "That's illegal." He sputtered. That's when Mr. Ramirez stepped forward from the kitchen. "No, son," he said calmly. "It's perfectly legal in this state. It's called one-party consent. And your words, they're what we call evidence of intent to defraud." David just stammered, speechless. The whole house of cards came crashing down. The realtor pulled the listing that very day. The bank froze any transfers he had tried to start from my accounts. In the end, he faced criminal charges for elder exploitation and attempted fraud. He took a plea deal to avoid jail time, but he lost any claim to my estate. I even added a clause to my will. If he ever challenges it, he gets absolutely nothing. Today, the for sale sign is long gone. My roses are blooming more beautifully than ever. Mr. Ramirez comes over for tea every Sunday, and we sit on the porch, swing and laugh about old times. David doesn't call much anymore. And yes, that part hurts. But I will never, ever let anyone steal my home or my peace of mind again. If you are watching this and someone in your life is making you feel confused or pushing you to sign papers you don't fully understand, please trust your gut. Get a second opinion from someone you trust. Record conversations if you have to and if it's legal where you live. You are not helpless. You are so much stronger than they think you are. Have you ever faced a betrayal from family? I'd like to hear your story. Share it in the comments below. I promise I read every single one. And if this story helped you in any way, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories from this old granny. God bless you and stay strong.